So today's next presenter is Andrew Martin, president and founder of Bluerithm. Andrew, welcome, and the floor is all yours.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here and good to be speaking with you all today. Let me get my screen share going and we can dive right in. So welcome. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about Bluerithm. We're all, of course, simultaneously the best and the leader and the fastest and everything. So I figured in these types of quick presentations, it's usually most helpful just to talk a little bit about what's different about Bluerithm. And if any of this resonates with you, then it might be worth having a deeper conversation afterwards. So there are, of course, a lot of options out there on the market these days for cloud-based software tools and just software tools in general for project management and commissioning specifically. And one framework that's helpful to understand where these different platforms lie and kind of what the differences are in some cases is to just think about a spectrum like this, where on one end the platforms are very prescriptive, meaning that there are intentional guardrails or kind of swim lanes, so to speak, and limitations on how you can do certain things. So in some cases, that's a really good and useful approach. On the other end of the that spectrum, it's a completely wide open, flexible framework like something like Airtable or if you were to use Microsoft Access to build something completely up from scratch. Um, or of course custom software. Uh, so pros and cons to either approach, um, and it really just depends on as far as which one might be better for your team, the types of projects you do, um, and what your clients expect, what your workflows look like, and what the requirements are. So we like to think Bluerithm fits maybe about 2/3 of the way down towards the flexible end of the spectrum. There are lots of other, tools on the market like we talked about, and they all kind of fall in different areas. So it can be helpful to think about that in the sense of what would you have to give up that you need right now for your projects if you adopted platform A versus if you adopted platform B, which is maybe more flexible. What does that mean for adoption and setup and training and so on? So Bluerithm is towards the flexible end of the spectrum. What does that really mean? Um, it's very customizable. So we've really, as far as the underlying structure and how it's designed, it's more of a framework. So there are building blocks that you can use to stack together different workflows and different process and different ways of thinking about things and building projects. So that's all the way down at the form, the checklist level. You can build very customized matrices and very customized forms. You can also build very simple checklists, of course. But when you get into more complex projects, industrial projects, process manufacturing, data centers, larger commercial projects, hospitals, um, projects that require more structure and intention behind how they get set up and put together, these types of things and flexibility and options start to become really, really important and useful. Um, so we have a lot of tools that are designed to manage complexity and not just give you one snapshot of a whole project and say, okay, here's all of your checklists. They're 20% complete. Because on a bigger project, that's not really that useful. So you need to be able to kind of peel back the layers of the onion and say, okay, what is the status in a certain area for a certain system for a certain type of checklist or a certain type of a process or workflow? So those are the types of questions that you can answer with a platform like Bluerithm. And again, you can really design it and kind of structure it however it makes sense for whatever type of project it is. So we have tools that will replace a lot of the very uh, gnarly in some cases tracking forms and Excel tools that people use. So we've got some good options for just general tracking tools. And Bluerithm is not only just for checklists and forms, although that is, of course, a big part of it. Um, there's also a lot of the project level work, as we might call it, or just general project management activities that that you can track and manage with the platform. So we've got some really good options for very customizable test forms, checklists. You can customize the issues log. You've got a lot of options for equipment hierarchies, system subsystem hierarchies. Um, Report building tool, very customizable. Talk a little bit more about that in a second. We have AI tools that are designed to take sequences of operation as inputs and actually develop either small parts of a test form or with the latest update, entire test forms, entire test procedures with very complex sequences, multiple pages long. So that's, these AI tools are still in their early days, but they're very impressive with what they can do. And we've really started trying to adopt them and integrate them into the platform as soon as possible. And back on the AI page here, if you go onto our website, there's a demo of a simple example right on our website on the front page. If you scroll down a little bit. Um, so this is just an example of a section of a test form that the AI tool created from a sequence of operation. So back to the discussion about some of the trade-offs, pros and cons of adopting a simpler versus a more complex or comprehensive platform. Typically, when you think about a more open-ended, flexible platform, sometimes that means a lot of time to get it kind of set up and dialed in and tuned up for what your processes and what your projects require and what your clients require. So one of the ways that we help with that is we have a very robust hands-on white glove onboarding process. And that starts even during an evaluation stage that we'll work with you on to really make sure that Bluerithm is a good fit. Um, and then once you decide to move forward with the platform, we have a team built around this process where we can build out your entire template library based on your own custom forms, create a like for like digital representation of them in most cases, and get everything stood up. So, we're really giving you, an operational platform and not just an empty or blank slate, so to speak. Our report builder is very comprehensive. So when you think about what you want a reporting tool like this to do for a commissioning platform, um, it's really valuable to be able to have an entire report or series of reports, not just one type, but in your template library reports for all of your different needs, and that's simple progress reports, punch list or issue log reports, and the big comprehensive final commissioning reports. So what we've done in Bluerithm is really um, taking this to the next step where it's the final stop where you go for report building. And that means that all the stuff that you might otherwise have to do in Microsoft Word and then do a PDF export and pull it into Bluebeam and stitch it together. Bluerithm does all of that for you. So there's built-in text editing tools. There's where you can do things like custom title pages and executive summaries, commissioning plans. You can build all of that right into your report templates. And in addition to just having the text editor, we also have automation built in. So it's going to pull out of the project automatically all of the repetitive stuff like project name and report name and project member list, equipment list, dates, client names, all of these things that you're going to otherwise have to retype on every single project. So there's a massive amount of operation and streamlining that comes out of a tool like this. And you can do the simple math. The ROI is, extraordinary, even just considering the, report building tool, like what's in Bluerithm. And what it exports is it's a final polished, ready to submit document. So all the bookmarks, table of contents, page numbers, everything's there and done and ready to turn over. And all the pages of the PDF are searchable. So some tools out there, they will do something with the PDF file where you actually can't search the text. So that doesn't happen in Bluerithm. So it's a final document ready to turn over as it comes out of the report builder. We have a lot of integrations as well. So we're always working on new ways to kind of work across the silos Um, some of these things we're working on with integrations to Revit, which we've released, um, aren't applicable in all projects and for every firm, but for the big projects where you have sophisticated clients and contractors, these types of tools and integrations are a game changer in terms of just being able to transfer asset and equipment and other project data from design tools into Bluerithm and then out the other side for operations, where we have integrations to, digital twin platforms like Willow, for example, and a easy to use API so you can pull data out and really do anything you want with it. And other tools, industry tools too, like Kobe imports and exports. And then of course, the Autodesk Construction Cloud, as well as BIM 360 and Procore, and other things that we're working on too. So we do a lot with integrations and understand that a lot of projects today uh, may not be able to leverage all of these, but we're getting ahead of the eight ball, and we're involved in integration projects like this on many projects right now already. We recently released a new app. So this is a really exciting development for us. It completely replaces our current app that some of you may even be familiar with or have used. It's a big step forward. We're investing a lot. We're already cranking out updates on a daily basis for small updates, and then weekly, biweekly for bigger updates. We're going to be continuing to really invest a lot into this new app. Um, it's officially released right now, so if you have a Bluerithm account, you can go out and use this right now. It's super easy to install. The updates are literally you click one button, updates to the latest version. Works online or offline very seamlessly. So it's a really great improvement over the current app, and we're excited to continue to release updates for this. And it works on any device too. So this isn't just for iOS or just for Android. It's for any operating system on any device, any modern device. It's not going to work on an old Apple II or something like that. So there's a whole lot more that we could talk about with more time. It's good to get on the phone and meet with your team and really dig into kind of the types of projects you do, how you execute your projects, what your clients expect, the types of contractors you work with, all of the details. And, if Bluerithm's not a good fit or if it's overkill or it might be served by something better, we would let you know. It's not in anyone's best interest to send you down a path where you won't be successful. So we'd love to hear from you and talk and figure that out. So definitely reach out if any of this resonates with you, or if you'd like to hear more. I think I wrapped up a little bit early, but I know we'll at least have some time for the giveaway, which is an iPad. So a brand new iPad Air, whatever the latest version of an iPad is. Um, and I'll turn it back over to the team for questions.
Thank you so much, Andrew. That was great. And like Andrew mentioned, it's an iPad Air. So just go ahead and mention Bluerithm using the Q&A button. And with that, we'll be able to announce a winner towards the end of the tech showcase. So to start off with the question, I can already see some questions coming in. The first one is, do you have a sample platform to play with the program?
Yep, we can get you set up with an evaluation account. Um, that's something that we would talk about during our first contact. We can get you access to example templates, example projects, and let you experience the platform. Yep.
Wonderful. While we invite the other ones, you also mentioned that Bluerithm is very customizable. So that makes it sound like it's hard to set up. How long does it take to onboard, including getting a template library set up to the point we can use the automated project setup tool and deploy Bluerithm on projects?
Yeah. Good question. So, um, because of how we've structured our team and our onboarding process, um, it's usually a period of 1 to 3 weeks on average. There are of course outliers and on either end of that, but that's a pretty average timeline. So that includes training, setting up a custom template library, and even some hands-on assistance with that first project setup if needed. But once the template library is in place, it's pretty much plug and play at that point.
Got it. Another question that's come in is, can I access the CX document, commissioning documents after the project is closed?
Yes. So the way it works in Bluerithm is once a project is finished, you just switch the status to closed, and that puts it into a non-editable state, so like a read-only state, but you can still look at it. So you can still look at the dashboards, you can still go look at files and punch list and forms and checklists and stuff, any documents. Um, so it's locked for editing, but it's still accessible for looking at and reading.
Perfect. And I see another question by Kevin, and he says, can the program handle large projects with checklists exceeding 50,000 checklists?
Yes, we do have projects that are of that size and capacity. So we have some customers that are from the energy industry, so they work on big industrial projects, and they have equipment tag quantities that number in the tens of thousands. And yeah, so the platform is it has been battle tested in that sense.
Perfect. And I think the next one is sort of similar to the previous one, but it says, if a project has been completed and closed in Bluerithm, can a client go back sorry, it just says in a few years later to view it?
Yep, yep, definitely. Yep, it just sits there and waits for somebody to come back someday and look at the project. Again, when it's put in that closed state, it's locked for editing, but you can still open it up and look at it and navigate through it and see the forms, the checklist files, and punch list and everything.
Perfect. And while we are still open for question, there's another one that says, is there any limit on how many people I add to the project?
No, nope, nope. There are plenty of projects out there with hundreds of project members. Uh, the way our pricing model works is you generally will have unlimited seats for especially for guest users and clients and people from your own firm. So no limitations or issues with lots of people using the project at the same time.
Perfect. I see Kevin has another question and he says, is there an option for the contractor to class a piece of equipment as construction complete to allow for FATs to then take place?
To allow for what? I missed the last part. Sorry.
It says FATs. I don't know if it means like,
FATs. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's no problem. You could definitely build out that workflow or that sequence of events in whatever order or whatever that process looks like. That's very common and not a problem.
Got it. Another question is, are there assignable security access levels?
Yep, there are. So the way it works now is there's preset roles that you can give to user profiles, and those roles have default levels of permission and access to do certain things and are forbidden to do other things. And then with the way the new app is developing, we'll have fine tuning for those roles and those permissions. So if you need to restrict some of those default permissions for a certain role or a certain person on a given project, you'll be able to fine tune that or open it up for somebody, on a project in the same way.
Perfect. So with less than 2 minutes to go, the next question is, can the program communicate with third-party scheduling software to forecast accurate complete dates in the program?
So we don't currently have a native integration with like Primavera P6 or Microsoft Project. We do have some scheduling tools built into Bluerithm that are very automated and easy to use that come with a base subscription. It's on our roadmap to do some integrations with some of the scheduling tools like P6 and Project. In the meantime, a lot of people use the built-in automated schedule tools in Bluerithm, or there are imports and exports that can help you sync up with the main construction schedule. But we do have some stuff on the roadmap to do more with native automated integrations with some of the primary construction scheduling platforms that are out there.
Perfect. And just scrolling through, I see a lot of blue rhythms come in. I would say with that, we can go ahead and move on to the next one. So Andrew, thank you so much for your presentation.